spirituality has become separate from the rest of our life. That's not how it's supposed to be. As Pujya Swamiji always says, spirituality is not a weekend business. It's not something that's supposed to be just 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day or 1 day a week. That which we practice and learn and attain and experience in our spiritual practice, regardless of our religion, is supposed to influence and affect and impact how we live our lives. So it's not, well, this is my social life, and this is my family life, and this is my academic life, and this is my spiritual life. Whatever my spirituality tells me is actually how I'm supposed to live in my career world and my family life and the rest of my world. It's like, the example that I always give is we are going to our meditation class, or we're going to our yoga class, or we're going to the temple or the church, and we're in the car, and we're late, and there's traffic, and somebody comes on the way. And the first thing that we do is, in our mind, we curse them. And then we lean on our horn, and we start to shout at them, "Get out of my way, I've got to get to temple. I've got to connect with God, I've got to get to my meditation class." And we start swearing at them and all sorts of things in our mind. Or we start yelling at our family in the car because it was their fault that we got late and they weren't ready, and why did they have to try on 10 different dresses before we were ready to get out, or whatever it is. The point is that we've drawn this boundary between, that's my place of worship, where I'm going, that's my meditation class, that's my yoga class, and this here in the car on the way is something different. And yet, all of our spiritual traditions tell us God is everywhere. God is in everything. There's no spiritual tradition that says, I'm only right over here. I don't exist. I don't have anything to do with the rest of creation. Do what you will. Abuse them, use them, destroy them. No problem. As long as you come to church or synagogue, I'll take care of you. Every religion says, care for my creation. Worship thy neighbor, love thy neighbor as thyself. Vasudev Kutumbakam. The world is a family. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I mean, whatever religion we look at, there's basic tenets that talk about that same oneness, that same divinity in everyone. And so the question becomes, well, how can sitting in my car on the freeway become a spiritual practice? How can that same divine I worship in my temple, in my church, in my synagogue, how can I see that same divine in my family members, in my colleagues, in my employers, in my employees, in the people I meet throughout my day? So it's not so much about how do we redraw the lines, but rather how do we remove the lines? How do we create a situation where being on the freeway is meditation? Interacting with our family is yoga. Running a business is my spiritual practice. The problem for so many of us is that we've got this tunnel vision of what we envision success to be. And in order to succeed in business, for example, you have to lie, you have to cheat, you have to step on people's heads, you have to not worry about the other guy. And that requires us to compartmentalize. We can't simultaneously be connected to a divine that says, I exist in my creation, and abusing and exploiting people who work for us, or purchasing goods that were manufactured by child labor or women in sweatshops, or the chemicals of which are giving cancer to the farmers who are, working in our fields. That's when the problem comes up. We want to be able to do business, thinking of the rest of the world as separate, and then come in and go to our temple or church or synagogue and pray to God. But it's actually not so easy. If we really worship the divine in our place of worship, then we have to also take those messages to heart. And that's going to impact every single choice we make. So that shopping becomes a spiritual practice. What we buy, how much we buy, what we wear, what we eat, where we go, how we live. Everything becomes a spiritual practice. Everything becomes a practice in non-violence, truth, integrity, sharing, compassion. But most of us want to just eat what we want, wear what we want, buy what we want, and then be able to go to temple or church on Sunday mornings or Friday evenings or Saturdays and sort of feel absolved of all of our sins. But real spirituality isn't that. So the only way to do that is really to bring your spiritual beliefs into every bit of your day. And it's not easy. You may lose contracts. You may find that the organic, fair trade shampoo takes twice as much out of your wallet as the cheapest tested on animals brand. You may find that you have to look a little bit harder to find a restaurant that's got vegetarian food. It's going to change how you live. But at least you'll no longer feel divided inside between my weekend business of spirituality and my professional life, family life, social life, which is separate from that.